Yankees fans settle in because the atmosphere around the Bronx has shifted in a big way, and every move the front office makes right now is to send watched closely by anyone who understands just how fragile and exciting this offseason has become. The conversation starts with that unexpected but impactful decision in center field, a move that instantly shook the direction of the roster and forced everyone olher de novo para. Okay, os proximos mises podem significar. When a player who just delivered the strongest season of his career decides to take a qualifying offer instead of testing an open market that surely would have shown interest, it creates a ripple effect that goes far beyond penciling in a lineup spot. It sends a message about confidence, timing, and how players are reading the landscape going forward. And this decision certainly changed the way the Yankees picture their outfield for the coming season. A power bat staying put after punishing so many pitchers over more than 140 games gives the team stability in a position where uncertainty was starting to grow. The expectation for months was that the Yankees would walk into the winter prioritizing one major name in the outfield, while letting the rest fall into place naturally. But now that a proven center fielder is returning on a one-year deal worth a significant amount, the entire puzzle shifts. Suddenly, the organization is holding a guaranteed starter for the middle of the field, easing one concern while creating new questions about how aggressive they will be in their search for additional star power. The general manager had already hinted that they were comfortable with the possibility of this return, praising the player's impact from start to finish last season. But hearing those comments and watching it happen are two very different things. Now that the deal is official, it forces the Yankees to think strategically about how their outfield alignment might evolve if they continue to chase another big name. That chase is still very real, even with this new contract on the books, and that is what makes the moment so intriguing. The team insists that their biggest target remains in sight, and they're prepared to continue negotiating despite their payroll inching closer to numbers that ownership previously described as difficult to sustain long-term. If they manage to bring back both powerful hitters, the Yankees would suddenly find themselves with a crowded but extremely valuable outfield group, creating the possibility of dealing from strength for upgrades in other areas. Young talent that fans have been excited to watch grow could find themselves discussed in trade conversations simply because the roster would no longer have room for everyone. That is how quickly one accepted offer can alter the dynamics of an offseason. There is also a logistical challenge to consider. Players who accept qualifying offers cannot be moved before mid-June unless they approve the trade, so navigating that restriction adds another layer to the decision-making process. The Yankees now need to balance intention, timing, and financial structure as they weigh how much more they are willing to commit. Financially, this acceptance is no small note. The team's projected payroll climbs even higher, and that figure increases further once you add the salary of the versatile left-hander they also decided to keep for next season. That pitcher provides an entirely different value, offering the flexibility to bounce between starting and relief work, which matters enormously given the injuries the rotation is facing. But those details only underline how tight the budget becomes if the Yankees continue pushing for another major contract, especially one tied to a player expected to draw heavy interest from multiple big-market contenders. Ownership has spoken publicly about limits, but when the team senses an opportunity to compete for a championship window, those limits often get tested. The situation becomes even more intense when you look at the state of the rotation. A center fielder returning is important for the lineup, but the rotation is where the real pressure sits. The injuries to key starters leave the Yankees walking into the new season with uncertainty hovering over the most essential part of any roster. And that is why the second major update has taken over conversations across the league. The international star finally hit the market, and the Yankees have every reason to be aggressive in their pursuit. He brings not only elite production, but also youth at a level rarely available in free agency. And teams understand how rare it is to acquire a dominant pitcher entering his prime rather than leaving it. His numbers in Japan over the last 3 years have placed him firmly in the category of pitchers who can transform a rotation from shaky to stable. With improving strikeout rates and decreased walks each season, He represents the exact type of control and consistency that the Yankees desperately need right now. Losing their ace to surgery for the start of the year already puts them in a tough position, and additional injuries only amplify the urgency. They cannot rely solely on internal options to carry them through the early months because the division will not wait for anyone. They need a dependable, top-end arm, and this international pitcher fits the profile almost perfectly. The Yankees know the cost will be high, but high does not mean unreasonable when the alternative is entering another season hoping that patchwork solutions can hold until reinforcements arrive. The posting window is open, the clock is ticking, and negotiations will likely accelerate quickly, especially with top contenders planning to make big offers before the market slows. Fans are familiar with how these off-seasons unfold, and every time an ace crosses over from Japan, the attention becomes massive. The Yankees have historically been involved in these conversations, and this year, the need is as clear as it can be. At the same time, the decision to bring back the left-handed swingman shows that the team is not only chasing stars, but also staying grounded in practical roster construction. He may not be the headline grabber, but his presence matters tremendously as the organization prepares to survive the early stretch without three key arms. The numbers he posted last season show that he can provide reliable innings, keep walks to a reasonable level, and generate strikeouts at a career-best pace. That kind of stability is exactly what a team needs when trying to stay competitive while waiting for injured pitchers to return. With all of these moves combined, the Yankees are shaping an offseason that feels both unpredictable and full of potential. The mix of high-stakes negotiations, financial strategy, roster juggling, and injury management makes every decision feel heavier than usual. And the fan base knows that each headline could be the one that shifts the outlook for the entire year. The hot stove is already burning, and every major move raises new questions about what comes next for a team that cannot afford missteps at a time like this. As all these conversations unfold, the pressure surrounding the Yankees front office only intensifies, because every decision they make now shapes not just opening day, but the tone of the entire 2026 campaign. The fan base can sense that they are standing at a crossroads, with the possibility of creating one of the strongest rosters in years, but also the risk of leaving glaring holes if certain moves do not come together the way the organization hopes. And that is why the pursuit of the Japanese ace has taken on such emotional weight. He represents more than just another rotation piece. He represents stability in a year when the usual anchors are unavailable, and a glimpse of long-term security at a moment when the team needs it most. The Yankees have been through too many seasons where the rotation looked promising on paper only to crumble under injuries and inconsistency. This time, they are entering the year already aware of the storm ahead. Their ace is recovering. Their high-priced left-hander is rehabbing, and the pitcher who quietly became one of their most reliable arms the last 2 years will not be ready until deep into the season. That leaves a group of younger pitchers and recent call-ups to carry an enormous amount of responsibility right from the first pitch of April. It is not just about talent. It is about experience, poise, and the ability to navigate the relentless pressure of performing for a franchise that expects excellence every single day. This is precisely why the international star's posting could not have come at a better moment. His combination of command, youth, and consistent dominance gives him the kind of profile that teams spend years trying to develop internally. The Yankees know this is the type of pitcher who could stand on the mound in a postseason environment and not flinch, someone who could give them the innings they need while also raising the ceiling of the rotation dramatically. And in a year where they cannot rely on their usual leaders, this might be the only way to keep the ship steady through the early months. If they want to avoid falling behind early in a competitive division, they need someone who can walk in from day one and provide the kind of performance that forces opposing offenses to adjust. At the same time, the decision to bring back the versatile left-hander begins to make even more sense as the offseason progresses. He may not draw headlines, but his willingness to shift between roles gives the Yankees the flexibility they desperately need. When the rotation is missing such substantial pieces, it is not just about having 5 names to fill spots. It is about having someone who can pick up innings when a young starter struggles, someone who can open a series when matchups require it, someone who can stabilize the bullpen when the team is forced into several heavy workloads in a short stretch. His numbers last season prove that he can handle those responsibilities with competence, and his strikeout improvements show that he may still have more to offer. His return also highlights how carefully the Yankees are trying to balance star-level additions with affordable, necessary depth. Big contracts might capture attention, but teams win seasons with players who perform solidly in the background while the stars handle the spotlight. This is especially true when navigating early season injuries. If the Yankees did not secure this type of depth, they would be forced to rush prospects or overwork relievers, both of which usually lead to setbacks later in the year. Instead, they're making sure that this time the staff is layered enough to absorb the blows that already await them. Meanwhile, the outfield storyline continues to evolve in unpredictable ways. The accepted qualifying offer left fans torn between relief and curiosity, because while it secures an important defensive presence, it also raises questions about how the lineup will look if their top target also returns. Bringing back both would give the Yankees a powerful combination of proven production and dynamic athleticism, but it would also force them to make tough decisions about their highly touted prospects. Some of these young players were expected to become major pieces of the next generation, and now their futures could be tied to trade discussions if the roster becomes too crowded. These decisions are not simple, and they are not made lightly. The Yankees have invested years into developing these young outfielders, watching them rise through the system with immense excitement from the fan base. Moving them might bring immediate upgrades, but it would also shift the long-term future of the franchise. That is the delicate balance the organization must consider. If they choose to keep everyone, the depth becomes a major strength. If they choose to trade someone, it must be for a move that clearly elevates the team in areas of need. And with financial pressure growing after the accepted offer, every choice has multiple layers of impact. The payroll situation adds another wrinkle to the storyline. Ownership has already acknowledged that crossing certain financial thresholds creates long-term complications. Yet the front office also understands that this team is not built to wait. The championship window is open right now, driven by the talent they already have and the expectations that come with representing the Yankees brand. Waiting for future flexibility does nothing for a roster that is capable of competing this season. That is why they continue exploring every avenue, even as the numbers tighten and the stakes rise. The coming weeks promise to be intense, with negotiations progressing quickly and the market shifting every day. Fans can expect rumors, abrupt twists, surprise names entering conversations, and constant debate about how each potential move might reshape the outlook for the year. The team is operating with urgency, knowing that their rotation cannot start the season incomplete, that their outfield cannot be left uncertain, and that their bullpen must recover from recent losses. More importantly, they know that this might be one of the most consequential off-seasons they have faced in recent years. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Whispers swirled through the baseball world last night as star closer EMMANUEL CLASE was reportedly spotted arriving in New York, fueling an immediate storm of speculation around a possible move that had been quietly brewing beneath the surface. According to onlookers at the airport, CLASE appeared calm, focused, and accompanied by representatives who seemed intent on avoiding attention. Yet the sight of one of the league's most dominant late-inning arms entering the city has already set the Bronx buzzing with talk that the Yankees may have secured their new anchor for the ninth inning. While no official announcement has been made, insiders close to the situation suggest that the organization has been pushing hard behind the scenes to finalize the deal, viewing CLASE as the missing piece in a bullpen that has lacked a true, intimidating closer. The Yankees front office, known for keeping negotiations tightly sealed, has offered no confirmation, but the mere possibility has ignited conversations from Manhattan bars to clubhouse corridors throughout the league. CLASE's reputation precedes him. His electric cutter, one of the most feared pitches in baseball, has long made him a dream target for teams craving stability in high-pressure moments. Now, the prospect of that pitch slicing through the air beneath the bright lights in the Bronx is enough to stir both excitement and unease. Rival hitters have already begun murmuring about what it would mean to face him wearing pinstripes, while fans have taken to social media to demand answers, celebrate, or, in some cases, brace themselves for heartbreak if the rumor proves exaggerated. For now, the story remains in that delicious gray area where anticipation thrives. Was Clase's arrival the final step toward a long-planned agreement, or merely a coincidental stop that ballooned into a frenzy? Whatever the truth, New York feels charged, restless, and teetering on the edge of a revelation that could reshape its bullpen identity. And until someone steps before a microphone to make it official, the city will continue to hum with the possibility that Emmanuel Clase has arrived to claim the ninth inning as his own. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.